On this channel, you will hear me talk a lot about allowing trades to develop and not necessarily jumping on the first trade that comes by, even if it kind of somewhat makes sense. Because a lot of the times, allowing something to develop makes more sense. Have you ever seen a trade happen and you're kind of thinking to yourself, man, I feel like that player could have gotten a lot more, but unfortunately, they just didn't for whatever reason, right? And then another trade happens that you think the player wouldn't fetch anything, kind of like Tanner Jeannot, and they got a haul for him from Tampa Bay, and you're like, what happened there? This is why I always think that general managers should be patient. We're going to be talking about how that relates to the Calgary Flames today, but welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you can make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated, and thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. It is very humbling. Because it is kind of weird. Right now, I'm kind of predicting that Blake Coleman might actually fetch the most for the Calgary Flames. Let's have a quick reminder of why that is. Quote, James Murphy of RG Media, 34-year-old Calgary Flames forward Blake Coleman carries a $4.9 million cap hit and is generating interest around league according to multiple sources. One NHL executive added. It continues, he is a guy I think a lot of teams believe they could acquire for a lesser price than Kadri and Anderson, but a guy that also knows how to win, close quote. So when it says lesser price than Kadri, I don't know if that's actually true. This is the problem with this. If there is a market for this player, you're going to get more than you think for him. I understand it seems counterintuitive, but I just kind of think Blake Coleman is going to fetch a lot just simply because he has more interest. Interest in a player is a big indicator of how much that player is going to be able to fetch. And when it comes to Rasmus Andersson, I'm obviously hoping they send him to Dallas so they can get Jason Robertson, but here we have the really interesting quote that the video is about. We know that Rasmus Andersson will be on the move at some point. It's a matter of when and where. But as the premier rental defenseman available, the Flames have a market cornered, which is why they've been patient at this point in time in not trying to force a trade despite a slow start to the season, close quote. That is what I am talking about. If they own the market with this player, they are going to be able to get a ton for him. Obviously, preferably another team would be Los Angeles. We know Los Angeles was apparently offering quite a bit for this player. So, I mean, again, that would be, if you could get one of LA's top young players, that would be really, really good for the Flames. I don't know if they will, and especially if he won't re-sign. The issue here is going to be when it comes to valuation, and Rasmus Andersson is just whether he re-signs with the team, and that would boost his value like crazy. It's kind of weird. We heard all these rumors about him only wanting to go to Vegas, and that ended up not being true. I don't know whether that is true or not at the end of the day, because the player might have just trying to play face for the organization. Maybe that actually did happen, and he only does want to go to Vegas. And it looks like the general manager of the Calgary Flames is doing a good job at this. The quote continues, they're going to let the market develop and see which teams are authentically in the race and which teams aren't before making any decision to have a full concept and grasp of the market, close quote. So I want to be clear, sometimes this does work against you. It's true, right? Sometimes this stuff works against you and sometimes it doesn't work. Like, maybe that this hurts them and they can't, get exactly what they want. I don't think so, though, and I think that this is going to generally work out in the Calgary Flames' favor. So I wanted to shift gears here, and I also wanted to talk about Zayne Parekh a little bit. Now, good news is, he was injured like way back in early November with a collision with Nick Foligno, and I don't know, I'm just kind of concerned about this player's development overall. I really hope he plays more games. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you could disagree with that, but I just hope he plays more games. I'm just concerned that he's just not playing enough. I don't know. For me, I just think he's probably a little bit better in the American Hockey League, in my opinion. Like, I think that he's probably better there. Obviously, you can't send him there. So my opinion would probably be I would just send him back to junior, even though, yes, I know he wouldn't learn a lot there. But, he played 11 games, one assist. I don't know. I just look at this player and think what exactly is best for him. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. But we do have new information now that, here's the quote, wearing a yellow no-contact jersey, Flames top prospect Zayne Parekh is skating with the team for the first time since suffering an upper body injury on November 7th, close quote. So let's really, really hope that this guy gets going. Like, Zayne Parekh is going to be pretty important to the Calgary Flames' future. Like, he is an important piece, a right-hand shot defenseman. Everybody wants him. Really, really offensive player. I don't know, but guys, I just don't like this development path for Parekh, in my opinion. I would probably just put him down to junior, right? That's where I would do it. Question of the video, Calgary Flames fans, do you agree with that, or do you think that they should just keep him up with the Flames? I understand that they've kind of chosen this path, so it's kind of hard to turn back. Like, I totally understand that, but it is just a little bit complex, isn't it? Like, my philosophy on young players is they'll tell you if they're ready. They'll tell you if they're ready. There's some players that are no doubters that they can keep up with the NHL and they can, it just doesn't matter. You know this guy from this point forward is an NHL player. And then you have the NHL tweeners that are kind of guys that are, they can get called up to from the American Hockey League and they're older guys. But players will tell you when they're ready. And I usually just have a patient approach to stuff like this. I don't think that there's any need to rush this player, in my opinion, especially in a season where the Flames are really not expected to be good. I wonder if the management just wants to give Calgary Flames fans something to watch in Zayne Parekh. Like, maybe they just see him as a player that, you want to watch. It's exciting to watch your young players develop, but I don't know, man. I just personally don't like it, and I'm really, really glad that next year during the new CBA agreement, they're changing it. So you will be able to send one specific prospect to the American Hockey League. So whatever that prospect might be in that season, you can say this guy is best suited for the American Hockey League, and you can send him there, which would be perfect. You could see Zayne Parekh and another prospect next year, with the AHL affiliate of the Calgary Flames. Like, for me, I see Zayne Parekh as a top pair, potential. Like, that's what I think that he's going to be. And I think that he's going to be probably a 22, 23 minute a night defenseman. Like, I think he's that good. And I don't know, it's just weird. A lot of people seem to be a little bit down on him. But at the end of the day, if players aren't ready, they're just not ready. Like, I think a lot of people expect young players to be just snap their fingers and they're just ready, 1 year in junior, but not every player follows the same development path. Some players need 1 year in junior, 1 year in the American Hockey League, even 2 years in the American Hockey League, and then they just make the NHL. Some players are almost just good right away if they're in the top 10 of the draft. So anyways, that's just my opinion on Zayne Parekh. Drop it below if you disagree. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave this video here. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.